Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Stephen A. Smith stepped in it now, man. He did the one thing you don't do. He talked about a black woman. So I was going to make this video like a little bit earlier, but I wasn't expecting Stephen A. Smith to do his response. And then, as you guys already know, I'm going to be slowing the uptake because I need to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I got all my facts. So this is my second time doing this video. And the first one was pretty long because I talk a lot. We're going to jump right into this and we're not going to waste any time.
I think this is a really good opportunity. We talked about the invasion of cities and colleges. I want to throw to one more example. Someone who teeters on the edge quite a bit, shows up talking out of both sides of his mouth. He had this to say recently about Jasmine Crockett. Sometimes you get attacked by your own.
How Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
He's got to deal with black woman issues.
Oh my God.
Writ large. And whatever self-hate exists within him.
That is self-hate.
I've never seen a clip of him where he actually praises a black woman.
That's what I'm saying. He's got black woman issue he's got to deal with. But
for those who are
I hate niggas like that. And you want to know why? Because they can't wait to just jump and be like, hey, queens, we don't know what's going on that brother over there, but he got black women issues and he need to go solve that. He spoke about one black woman and all of a sudden he has black women issues. Stephen A. Smith is a bombastic, loud, upbeat, eccentric person. That's how he speaks. And I'm tired of this whole fucking self-hate shit. You make a comment about one black person or about something that we can all agree is negative within the black community, and all of a sudden you have self-hate. And it's like, what? How is him talking about one black woman, Jasmine Crockett, having an issue with black women? She's one. She's not the representative of all black women. And the other Negro over there talking about, I never heard him say anything positive about black women. Did you not see when he had a conversation with Roland Martin, I think for like an hour or so, talking about Kamala Harris and then black women, talking about how black women lead the charge when it comes to making changes within the black community? So what are you talking about?
Listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jasmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jasmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context.
I don't know where she got that from. I don't know what she's talking about, because I looked on many major search engines, even the smaller ones, even ChatGPT, and I cannot find any poll that what she may be addressing. They do not poll House of Representatives nationally. When I asked, I think Google, right? Google got snippet with me, the AI, which I don't really trust the AI, but I'm just saying, it basically kind of called me stupid for even asking that goddamn question. So I don't know where she got that from, but she needs to give up, her sources. Google, Bing, Yahoo, ChatGPT. God, I use it all. DuckDuckGo. I don't know where she got that from. Because the only thing that she could possibly be talking about, and the numbers don't spell anything good, is this. And this is the overall, right? 20% very favorable. 8% somewhat favorable. Neither favorable nor unfavorable. Somewhat unfavorable. 28% very unfavorable. 28% don't know, no opinion. She doesn't have as much pull and reach as Obama, especially in 2008.
He is on an island unto himself. Because people see her largely working on our behalf. And I also want to say, we recently had Jasmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod. And Jasmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So this is not the time for this.
Yeah.
And it is very dangerous for this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on their sports platforms, on talk radio, all the time. There is a growing divide between black men and black women.
Oh my God.
And I think that some of them are also leaning more conservative in their talking points.
She's a congresswoman from Texas, and Texas has this open carry law. Governor Abbott is such a dangerous, problematic person.
He sets up a false argument.
Yes.
How much attention is this taken away from you getting whatever you need for your district?
I've seen plenty of power banks over my 15 years of reviewing tech, but this Ridge one quickly became a favorite. So this...
The Republicans control the House of Representatives,
right,
the Senate and the White House. They not letting her get ish for her district.
That could be true. That could be true. Cause I did look up the bills that she's tried to pass and everything like that in some legislation. She doesn't try to pass much. She co-sponsors quite a bit, and you could go look that up yourself if you want to. But she doesn't really do much in the realm of, you know, putting forth bills. She did put forth a few, and that was related to like ICE and whatnot. Nothing for our community, if you want to be like completely honest about it. She was sworn in 2023. It's 2025. Trump got in, what, 9-10 months ago. There's a huge gap of time there, and she hasn't really done much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying she hasn't done anything. I'm not going to take away her accolades. And some of you like to bitch and moan, like, oh, I'm trying to bring her down. Shut up. She hasn't done much as people try to make it seem like she's doing. To bring it back a little bit more, she said the context was something that wasn't what Stephen A. Smith was talking about, because I saw a good portion of what that podcast was about. He had Hakeem Jeffries, right, up there, and he was basically talking about the shutdown. The conversation that he had with Hakeem Jeffries led into him talking about, hey, this shutdown can't only be put on the Republicans, because Chuck Schumer, right? The first time when they avoided shutdown earlier this year, it was because he sided with the Republicans, and that made him an enemy of his own party, to the point where they lost faith in him, and now he is a possibility he could get challenged by AOC in the future, and she might just win. He brought up Jasmine Crockett because those two are what they consider the rising stars within the Democratic Party. And he was basically saying, hey, look, you're not really doing much except going off and saying exactly what he said earlier in the video. That's all you're doing.
And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single level.
She does.
Are there black men that's listening to Stephen A. Bakari?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but they would take that and take it seriously.
There are people who like
white men.
Yeah, and they think that
they
think that Jasmine Crockett talks with her neck and is too loud and snaps her fingers and all that, and they caricature her like he's doing.
Yeah. I hate pausing this much. She caricaturized herself, because I saw Jasmine Crockett not when she got popularized, before all that. And when she first came into view, she didn't speak that same way. She didn't act that same way. That reminds me when I moved down to Georgia and I had dudes that was trying to act like they about that life and shit. I'm not about that life. I will never act like I am. I'm a lame. I'm a cornball. I'm proud to be that. But I'm seeing dudes moving like that, like they about that life. I'm just like, you got two parents in the house. Y'all make good money and y'all live in a gated community. What are y'all doing right now? That's what I see when I see Jasmine Crockett, because that's not how she portrayed herself for the longest time until recently. She characterized herself.
Yeah.
And so my point though is that I didn't like the back and forth with Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace or whoever it was, right? But
Nancy Mace is the one that got violent. She was the one that said, "Let's take it outside."
I know them both very well.
Taylor Greene.
I know them both very well, and that just because I was in the legislature, so I look at that totally different. However, I will tell you that there is a through line between the Ice Cubes and the Jason Whitlocks and the Stephen A. Smiths. And these individuals, and Ice Cube may be slightly different than the other two, but these individuals have been around since we have been on this freedom struggle. There have always been individuals out there which exhibit behaviors of charlatans who utilize, some people are in it for the change and some people are in it for the change. Right. And I think that that's indicative. And they find the easiest path to the front of the line. And Stephen A. Smith is someone who doesn't have the depth to talk about House oversight or the appropriations process, right? And how you're able to bring resources back to your community, or what Jasmine is doing. So he rather lampoon her, or instead of having a constructive conversation. And so I've said what I
also, let's not forget, because people only show parts of the clip, and I guarantee they didn't watch the whole thing. He said before any of what he talked about, right? Hey, I have respect for her. I think she's highly intelligent. The thing you're supposed to do whenever you talk about a black woman, bow down to their feet. He did all that, and he even said, hey, look, she's more than welcome to come on my show. And what's funny, right? When he was out doing talks with Roland Martin and other black advocates and everything like that, talking about what he viewed with the Democratic Party and, VP, Harris and everything like that, no one had anything to say about his political takes. No one said anything about how he didn't have the depth. They just went along with it because he was saying things that they liked. All of a sudden now he said one thing that is a bit controversial, and now they're just like, he doesn't have the depth to really speak on these issues. I'm not saying that he's like some great political commentator or anything like that. I'm not thinking that. But if you watch some of his shows in reference to politics, you see that he has a whole lot more insight than the average person. And you might just learn something and get a better perspective. Especially one that's more so unbiased than a lot of other people. Because when I say he's in the middle, he's pretty much in the middle. I think he has a lot more conservative views that he doesn't want to voice yet. But case in point as to why.
I've had to say about Stephen A. Smith in my book, anywhere I can, I don't have a lot of use for him in the political dialogue. I think that there are individuals who he matriculated with at Winston-Salem State University that are extremely disappointed about the man he's become.
It's so disheartening to me. It's frustrating, one, because anytime we speak on this, it's like man haters and all this. But I feel such confidence in Black men. I've never bought into the idea that all these Black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are, and the data shows that there have been inroads among Black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me. And
when we stand up and say an opinion that we have, even one that isn't as, controversial, we get labeled as having issues with Black women, self-hate, and everything in between. I had a lot of conversation with a lot of Black men related to this election. The reason why a lot of them are on the same wavelength as you when it comes to voting is because they have a fear of not being part of the culture. They have a fear of not being Black. The amount of Black men I spoke to that voted for VP Harris, I'm not gonna say her name because apparently I keep saying it wrong. I'm tired of people bitching about it. The reason why Black men voted for VP Harris is because they felt like they had to. The amount of Black men I spoke to that said I didn't even want to vote for her, but I feel like I had to because my woman, my mom, my aunt, my whoever, my sister. Not only that, the amount of Black men that didn't vote because of that very same reason. That's why it seems like everything we say is an attack now, because it's been built up over years of not being able to say what we want to say. And then a few times where something escapes out and we do say something, we get hit with all this backlash.
It feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being Black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us. What am I getting?
She's correct in saying there's a small sect of men, because I'm not going to sit up here making something that men are just out here just killing it. No, there's a small sect of men that are out here just hateful. I will not deny that. They exist. Black men are not mad that Black women are surpassing them in certain fields. We don't like when you try to throw it in our faces, and don't sit here and say, oh, that doesn't happen. It does happen. And not just by Black women, it happens by a lot of other women as well. It's not something we're making up. It's something that we're living through and going through right now. And then not only that, I hate this whole aligning yourself with the oppressors. It's funny how they say that, but when you get in that job and you work in that job working for the white man, is that aligning yourself with the oppressor? No, it's not? Oh, okay, cool. I'm a little bit confused.
Wrong, because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute pure self-hating little dick energy nonsense from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that he even gets an audience of Black men. Why aren't Black men right now saying, F Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not watching his show anymore? That's what Black women do. We organize.
Yeah,
I hate weak ass men like that don't agree with certain takes and don't agree with certain things that, in this case, women are saying, and don't have the balls to stand up and say, I don't agree with that. Oh, I don't think he's any of that. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I agree with what Stephen A was saying. His delivery, I guess, could have been harsh, but that's Stephen A. Smith. If you ever watch his content, that's how he is. But what he said wasn't wrong. But I find it funny that he's all these negative things now, but when he was campaigning for VP Harris, when he was doing all this work and talking with other Black leaders and delegates and everything like that, he wasn't any of that shit. It's funny how you guys can sit down and talk about the thing that you boycott and no longer support, but the most negative shit in our community, y'all don't stop supporting that. Y'all don't boycott that. You're talking about, oh, that's what Black women do. You're right, you do that. But for the wrong shit. You got energy for the wrong shit.
You asked the question why.
Yes, tell me why.
By the way, I love the usage of adjectives.
I'm sure I messed it up somewhere.
But the answer to the question why is kind of twofold. Black men showed up. We were the third largest demographic voting for. You had Black women, you had Jews as a collective, and then you had Black men, somewhere between 74, 76% voting for Kamala Harris. And so, yeah, it's not a large number. We still are there. But the slippage you've seen is twofold. The first is that there's been no party, no group which for the past 20, 30 years has taken the time to listen to Black men holistically. And many times we are spoken to about policy. That policy revolves around things like criminal justice.
Hello, my name is Alexander Yermak. Until 2022, I was a musician and
But very, yeah, and marijuana. But very rarely do we have wholesome, fulsome conversations about the Black men who are out there struggling to pay for early childhood education, child support, right? You know, how that
Wages.
You know, when you know the craziest thing is when you get locked up for child support, do you know that your child support continues to grow? Of course. Like it's
I agree with him on this point, but I am tired of whenever they talk about Black men, they talk about child support. Why is that our signifier? Why is that our designated when it talks about issues with us? I know plenty of Black men that do not have those issues. And I don't see myself represented whenever anyone talks about that and then assigns it to us. All right, because I've met many white men that deal with this problem. I don't like when every time we talk about this, there's always some child support. It's just it just irks me because it puts us in a box, and I hate being put in a box.
Driver's license gets suspended.
It's an unbreakable cycle.
It's an unbreakable cycle, right? I mean, just opportunities, STEM opportunities. So just having a holistic, fulsome conversation around Black men is something that hasn't happened. The other thing is, which is a question that we have to answer, and hopefully we'll untangle it over the next, 100 episodes.
Certainly while you're here.
certainly while I'm here is there are a lot of Black men who question whether or not they have the ability to breathe and lead in an era of Black girl magic.
I would say what I would add, because I disagree on the latter point, but I do agree to this one, which is I think Black men want the bag too. And we on the Democratic side don't talk enough, if at all,
or listen
about how I'm gonna help you prosper. What does prosperity for us look like? So if at every turn, you're the deficit end of the equation, every turn, somebody's got to do something for you, you're not making room. And one thing that Trump's talking points appear to do is to put you on track or on alignment with getting a bag. I don't think that is wholesale widespread.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith, I think he does have issues with Black women, but I also think the brother's also trying to get and maintain and grow a bag. And he's similar to...
If he can tell me another instance of when Stephen A. went ham on like a Black woman for the sake of being Black, as opposed to just, putting yourself in the space to have someone talk about you. Because I know people are going to bring up Serena Williams. If you're going to take the two instances, more so 1.5, where Stephen A. Smith says something about a Black woman and apply it to all Black women, then that's fucking crazy. And then to insinuate that the reason why he's speaking the way he is because he's trying to get some type of money. Whatever happened to him, maybe that's just how he feels. Why is it always, you don't really feel that way? And if you do, it's because you're selling out. So I can't have my own independent thought.
A lot of the Black Republicans who ideologically could not articulate anything worth mentioning are out here caping because they're not in competition with Bakari Sellers or Andrew Gillum. But they're at the front of the line on that side because they're willing to say the things that white people think and don't get to say with license. But they got you, Cape and Clown, who's willing to say it,
right.
And they get rewarded for it.
But he looks like money. He smells like money. He talks loud. He knows LeBron, even though LeBron can't stand him.
Yeah.
So he's there. He walks with a swag. He went to an HBCU, so he's the perfect messenger. And so
I don't have time for that. He's had beef with other Black men, and no one ever said, "Oh, he has a problem with Black men." No, because that's just the name of the game. The last few points that these two men said, I don't even want to call them men. It was actually on point. I actually agree with that, especially when it comes to the Democratic side and everything like that. Black men were not given a space to, especially in the wake of what they call Black girl magic, because we're uplifting Black women. Not saying that we shouldn't, we should, and then we're kind of just like throwing Black men to the wayside. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. I might do a follow-up when it comes to like, Stephen A. Smith doing his response video and everything like that, because fun fact, it diverted away from the real conversation, which was him trying to say and hold both sides, Democrats and Republicans, but more so Democrats in this case because he had Hakeem Jeffries on his show, responsible for the shutdown, and had them see that it's not just one side, that we should look at things with a broader scope. But that all got thrown to the wayside because someone got their feelings hurt because you can't talk about Black women. Well, you guys already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me your thoughts. Let me know if I'm off. I already know some of you guys will. The minute I bring up Jasmine Crockett, anything related to black people in general. You guys are just ready to just delve in there, you know. And I enjoy it, honestly. It's really not that bad. It keeps me on my toes. Truthfully, it does. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.